delivery. That's what I do. I'm representing an organization called Dot One Solutions. We are part of Anderson Consulting, and essentially what we do is take customers' problems and turn them into outcomes that can be tangibly delivered to them within the time frame. Now, if you have to try and understand what is going to be the future, and I have this 4-point framework, so everything that you will see on my slide, you will see the 4 pointers coming in. Of course, the first thing is about the AI-driven automation. If I don't talk about it, I will not be doing justice with it. The second thing is about how cloud is going to try and innovate, and there are multiple facets in cloud where we will try and get into the nitty-gritties of it. Environmental sustainability and green efficiency is something that we are going to be extremely keen on in the future. And the last but not the least is tomorrow's data is going to be hyper-personalized. I need to talk to Mr. Shubhamar Chakrabarti. I need to know about what his likings are, what his dislikes are, what his profile is, and curate a specialized experience for him. Otherwise, I'm not going to catch him. And that's how we are going to try and go in the future. But before that, just to lighten up the mood, because there's heavy technology that has been spoken about, I just tried to understand what is Elon Musk's view on the thought process that he has on sending the humanity on Mars. So I went to Grok and I said, hey Grok, if Elon asks you, what are the timelines for humanity or indeed a spaceship to go on to Mars, what will be your answer? Now imagine the Grok knows that I am not Elon, but the question is posed as to what if Elon asks you? Grok said, hey boss, I think we are round the corner. By 2026 or by first quarter of 2027, we should be there. I said, really? Is that so? And I went on to the Twitter. Meanwhile, Grok came back to me and said, oops, sorry, I was hallucinating. Maybe the last night party's hangover was still on. By the way, unless you try and fix up the burning rockets and the law cases that are against you in the US court, I'm not sure if there is any closer path for you to reach to Mars. By the time, I've already tweeted, I'm Elon Musk, I've already tweeted, Grok says that by first quarter 2027, humanity will reach on Mars. My valuation of SpaceX has gone 50 billion up, and ladies and gentlemen, that's the time that we are living in. AI is hallucinating, human being is as curious as possible, and we are all wanting to try and balance the world out. That's the real message that I want to try and drive home through this presentation. Now, you all know about what is going to be the next step of this intelligent automation through AI is going to be. All the services that we are, and I'm only specifically talking about IT services, all the services that are going to be repetitive, that are going to be mundane, that are going to not require a decision-making skill and does not have a high impact either on the P&L or on the impact of the business and the future of the continuity of business will be automated, period. How will that happen? Who's going to do that? What will be the cost repercussions for it is something that we will have to keep looking for, but that is the reality that we are going to be dealing with. A lot of testing, a lot of project management, a lot of documentation, a lot of use case analysis, a lot of referencing with industry peers, all of that knowledge will be available to us. It is right now available to us, and we are going to use that more and more. Therefore, what is going to be the differentiator between one company and another company, between one individual and another individual, and between one business case, vertical or a customer, and the other business case, industry, customer? We will have to really toggle between these aspects to try and make real sense. So therefore, the next phase of technology delivery is only going to be outcome-based. It's a great leveler. It has democratized the big and the small, the young and the elderly, the experienced and not so experienced, and they are going to keep on driving the next phase of innovation and growth. Coming to the second part of it, and this, I'm not going to preach to this audience here what cloud computing is going to be. You all have been at the pioneering cutting edge last evening. Some of you have got awards for innovating on the cloud computing. What is going to be, and I'm going to talk only about one part here, which is about what AWS is going to do, which is what Kubernetes is going to do, which is essentially about multi-cloud orchestration. We are in the great city of Kolkata. Rabindra Sangeet is the most prominent part of your culture here. And any part of music, whenever it is been demonstrated to a large audience like this, it must have a symphony, it must have an orchestration, it must have a synchronization, and it must have the balance. Going forward, AI, cloud on the future technology is going to require all those aspects that a musical orchestra must have. You're going to draw lesson from art here. And unless you are going to try and differentiate between a public cloud and a private cloud and try and take an example of RBI. RBI today in India is using both the hybrid cloud, the public and the private cloud together and integrating it in a seamless way. And how are they doing it? They are putting the entire core application of the banking into their own private cloud, but the public related information, the customer data, the know your customer details and what have you, will be on the public cloud, thereby bringing the cost down. So going forward, not one answer is going to be enough. We will have to try and dabble and create a balance between multiple options. The previous panel did talk about cyber security. The previous panel also mentioned the last rapid fire question that was asked between aggressive and defensive ways of creating AI's imagination in the future. And what is cybersecurity stand? As a human being, as a mankind, we will always be on the defensive against the technology. That said, unless we are building a zero trust architecture, what does that mean? Do not put your faith and trust. Somebody said, what will be the fate of passwords? Will they be remaining? Will they not be remaining? As long as human beings are going to be at the other side of that technology terminal, our basic elements of not trying to put your entire faith and trust into a machine will remain. So our architecture will have to reflect on that. We will have to create a zero trust architecture. We will have to create an AI-enabled threat detection that will allow us to try and preempt, because billion-dollar enterprise data is going to be sitting on that architecture. And unless we are sure of that when I'm sleeping in the night or when I'm holidaying, my data and therefore my business is secure, I will not be able to try and put my faith and trust into it. Therefore, a lot of this work that will come in our way will be in the area of security operation modernization. A lot of times we've seen in the 60s and 70s mainframes were there, thereafter personal computing came in, thereafter internet came in. And a lot of times we in the services world only try to modernize from the previous application to a newer application and so on. But here is the good news. It is going to continue in the future as well, because the rate at which technology is going to change is going to be so rapid, and therefore we will have to try and keep on modernizing it from time to time. You guys know about this data platform and real-time insights. As long as we are not trying to create this entire data work for us to be able to make a real-time decision, I don't think so this investment is worth any of us. What are those decisions? Those decisions could be, and in the future, and I'm sure we all heard this use case. I have a 13-year-old kid. They have now in the mindset of having the pajama parties. Kids come together at one of the parents' house and they will spend the entire night not to sleep. That's their motto. What do I do as a parent? I will go and tell my AI, please make sure that order food for 5 kids. One of them has allergy of shellfish. One of them is actually pure vegetarian and vegan. Please do not put milk on the table. Please make sure that you are able to feed them healthy. Please lock the internet so that they are not able to see PG-13 data, because we don't want that as a parent. We are still not ready as a parent. Make sure that they sleep at the right time, but they will not sleep at the right time. So please have the lunch available for them for the midnight snacking. And in the morning, before they leave home, please curate a book story giveaway pack for them so that they are able to try and read back. I will tell this information. I'm here in Kolkata, my kid is in Mumbai, and I'm sure this is getting executed. So that's the sort of platform world that we are going to be in the future. And those who will make sure that they're investing right time and curating the thought process in nurturing this ecosystem only will survive in the future. Do I have to talk about Industry 4.0? I'm sure all of you know. The first came the steam engine, second came the electricity, third came the computing, and now we are in the 4.0 era for the last several years or so, where everything is talking to everything. The great Yash Chopra's elder brother, B.R. Chopra, wrote a movie called Naya Daur. I'm sure all of you know this. It was about 1957. Dilip Kumar and Vaijayanti Mala. And that was the story about man versus machine. In a small little village where everything was being run on the horse cart, the passenger movement was done on the horse cart, the big Babu from Western world educated person came here and started the bus service. It has been, it's almost about 60, 70 years now, and we are still talking about man versus machine. The art is emulating it, the society is, the business world is emulating it. Industry 4.0 is not against the man versus machine concept. It is how can machines enable the human being